Alright, so today I'm going to attempt to build a watch using the ETA 2824 movement. What is up everyone, I'm Jason from JB Watch Mods and today I'm going to attempt to build a watch using the ETA 2824 movement. Now I have attempted to build a watch using this movement in the past, but it didn't go so well. I ended up busting the movement. So hopefully today I can break that trend and finally tick the ETA 2824 off my list. So let's take a quick look at the parts I'm using and jump straight into the build. Obviously we've got our ETA 2824 movement. Now the movement I'm using is a clone movement, so it is a lot cheaper just in case anything does go wrong. The dial I'm using is a 31mm sterile dial with patina loom on it. Now I have applied my own logo to this dial, and if you are interested in how I do this, I have a full video outlining the process over on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. Now we're using a 41mm Seamaster style case, which is coated in rose gold, and it'll pair nicely with the burgundy bezel that we've selected. And to top it all off, we've got a nice pair of Seamaster hands in rose gold. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do here is remove the dummy hands that come fitted to the movement. These hands are fitted to keep the dial washer and gears on the movement all intact while in transit. Then we can remove the dial feet that we don't need from the back of the dial. Now on this build I'm using a 31mm sterile dial which I've applied my logo to. And if you're interested in how I did that, I've got a full video detailing the process over on my Patreon page, which is linked in the description below. Once I've removed the dial feet from the back of the movement, I grab my Dremel and give the back of the dial just a quick sand just to make sure that there's nothing protruding on the back of the dial. And after a quick cleanup, we can go ahead and fit the dial to the movement. There are two small holes in the movement, which the dial feet from the dial lock into nicely. It's just a press fit, so it's an easy step. Now we'll get ready to fit our handset, and to do this we need to get the movement in the correct position. So we pull the crown out to the furthest most position and wind it over until the date wheel flicks over. Then we know we're at 12 AM and we can set the hands accordingly. Now I'm using my NH35 movement holder for this movement and it doesn't do the best job of holding it. There is a little bit of play in the dial and movement on this movement holder, so it makes setting the handset just a little bit more difficult. Now I won't cover this topic in depth in this video, but I've got a lot of videos over on my channel if you want to see some more in-depth tutorials on this process. And that is the handset fitted, and so far I must say this watch is looking really good. I love the look of those patina indices, but I do wish that the handset had the same loom. Maybe something to keep an eye out for on the next iteration of this build. Now let's remove the dummy crown stem that is fitted to the movement. So to remove the crown stem, I pull the crown out to its furthest most position, the time setting position. Then using a small screwdriver, I depress the pin and pull the crown out with my forefinger. And just for reference, I'm using a screwdriver with a tip that's slightly larger than 1mm. Now we can put this to the side and grab our case. So we'll remove our case back and grab out our case spacer. Now this spacer allows us to use the ETA 2824 movement in this case. Now it's as simple as picking up our movement and sitting this spacer on the back side of the movement, just making sure to line up the crown stem hole with that cutout in the case spacer. And now that that's done, we'll grab our case and get it ready to fit our dial and movement assembly. So I like to give everything a really good clean before fitting the movement, just to make sure that there's no smudges or any dust under that crystal. Now I've been a little bit lazy here and haven't removed the straps. Now usually I do remove the straps as they do get in the way, but on this watch it's not too bad. So I decided to leave them on. Once you're happy that everything's clean, we can grab our movement back and get ready to pair the movement with our case. Now I just pop the movement on my movement holder and then place the case over the top of the dial and movement assembly. Then we can flip it all over and make sure that everything is located in the right position and pressed down all the way. Now it's time to fit our crown stem. So to do this, we'll grab the crown stem that came with the movement that you purchased and grab the crown from our case. So the first thing I'm going to do is screw the crown onto the crown stem and then insert it into the case. Then we can see how much needs to be cut off from the crown stem. Now I always struggle with the crown stems on this movement, and you can see here I do have a little bit of difficulty fitting the crown stem into the movement. But eventually we do get there. And we can see that the crown stem is about 3 to 4 millimeters too long. So what I'm going to do is pull the crown stem back out and cut 3 to 4 millimeters off this crown stem. So like before, I pull the crown stem out to the time setting position and grab my small screwdriver to depress the pin and pull out the crown stem. Then we'll remove the crown from the crown stem, cut 3 to 4 mil off that crown, and before refitting our crown, I'll give the ends of that thread a quick file just to make sure that there are no burrs on that crown stem. Now we're ready to test fit this back into the movement. And unfortunately, this is where things start to go all downhill. Now, I'm doing what I think is the right process, but I would love to hear what I'm doing wrong. So if you do know, drop it in the comment section below. This is where I figure out that I can't insert the crown stem back into the movement, which I believe is caused by a faulty keyless works. Now, I am using a small flathead screwdriver to depress the pin, and I did have the crown in the time setting position, so I'm not 100% sure what I am doing wrong. Unfortunately, it looks like this is as far as I'm going to get on this build. It looks like this watch is going to be a paperweight for now until I can order a new movement and give this build another shot. But just for fun, I decided to put the rest of the watch together just to see how it would look, and here are the results. That is going to do it for today's build. Now, unfortunately, it didn't go as planned, but hey, that is all a part of it. Now, my hope is by sharing my mistakes, we can all get something out of this video and learn together in the comment section below. I would love to hear from any ETA 2824 movement gurus in the comment section below. Let me know where I went wrong and how I can fix it for next time. I'm sure there'll be plenty of other people who are keen to know as well. So let us know your thoughts. But for now, that'll do, and I'll see you all in the next build.